Every Clash Royale player talks about skill, timing, or deck choice. But there's one skill nobody ever mentions because you can't see it. You can't measure it in trophies. You can't find it in your stats. But it decides who becomes a legend and who stays average forever. That skill is decision control. The ability to make the right move, not when it's easy, but when everything is falling apart. Today, we're going deep into the invisible art of control, the mindset that wins games before they even begin. Let me ask you something. Have you ever played a match where you were winning, totally dominating, and then suddenly everything flipped? You dropped one bad card, got caught with no elixir, and boom, game over. You start thinking, how did I lose that? You had the matchup that counters everything. But you lost not because of bad luck, you lost because you lost control. Control isn't just about defending. It's about being one step ahead emotionally and strategically. The best players, the ones you watch and think, how are they always in the right place at the right time? They aren't reacting faster, they're thinking slower. They create space between what happens and how they respond. That's the invisible skill, calm, conscious control. The power of pausing. When you're in the middle of a match, it's easy to forget that you control the pace. Your opponent drops a hog and your brain screams, defend now. And before you know it, you overcommit, leak elixir, and turn a small defense into a full disaster. But here's the thing, pros pause. They see the hog, they wait a fraction of a second, and they ask themselves, do I really need to respond right now? Or can I trade smart? That tiny pause separates impulsive players from strategic ones. You don't win Clash Royale by being faster, you win by being deliberate. Every second you wait intentionally, you're collecting invisible power, awareness, patience, clarity. Next time you play, try this experiment. Before dropping any card, ask yourself, what's my plan after this? If you don't have an answer, don't play the card. That single rule can boost your win rate more than any deck guide ever could. Stop playing emotions. Start playing information. A huge mistake that keeps people stuck forever, playing based on emotion, not information. You get angry after a bad push, so you go all in. You feel confident after one tower, so you start trolling. And that's exactly when smart players destroy you. Every move you make gives your opponent data. Every elixir trade, every misplay, every reaction tells them what kind of player you are. But here's the twist. You can do the same thing. You can read your opponent like a book if you learn to stay calm and pay attention. Notice what they protect. Notice what they ignore. Notice when they panic. That's the kind of information that wins games before they're even halfway done. Because Clash Royale isn't just a card game, it's a game of psychological warfare. When you stop reacting emotionally and start collecting information, you shift from prey to predator. The law of elixir control. Let's talk about elixir. Everyone knows to count it, few actually feel it. Great players don't need to track exact numbers. They just sense when an opponent is dry or floating. And that sense only comes when you slow down and actually observe the flow of the match. Here's a simple rule. Every action should either create pressure, profit, or preparation. If your move doesn't do one of those three things, it's probably a waste. Create pressure. Force your opponent to respond even when they don't want to. Create profit. Trade positively. Gain more from less. Create preparation. Build the setup for a winning push. That's how control works, not by playing more cards, but by making every card count. Elixir is your oxygen. Don't waste it on panic plays. Use it like a scalpel, sharp, clean, intentional. The confidence loop. Here's a truth most players never realize. Confidence isn't built by winning, it's built by recovery. Anyone can feel confident after a 3-crown win. Real confidence is staying focused after your opponent takes your tower with 15 seconds left. Confidence comes from resilience, from proving to yourself that you don't need perfect conditions to play perfectly. Every bad rotation you survive makes you mentally stronger. Every tough matchup you learn from adds to your calm. So stop saying, "I got unlucky." Start saying, "I got data." That's what pros do. Every loss is a lesson in disguise. They don't collect trophies, they collect experience. That's why even when they're down 0-1, they still look unshaken. Because they know something most players don't: composure is contagious. When you believe you're in control, your opponent starts feeling the pressure, and often they crumble before you do. Smart adaptation, the meta of you. Every few months, the meta changes. Cards get nerfed, decks die, and everyone scrambles to find the next big thing. But there's one meta that never changes: your own. Your mindset, your reaction time, your patience, that's your personal meta, and you can upgrade it constantly. Ask yourself, what kind of player am I right now? Do I panic when I'm down? Do I waste elixir defending too much? Do I switch decks too fast instead of fixing my mistakes? You can't control balance updates, but you can control your upgrades. Every time you improve a habit, you're patching your own system. And that's what the best players do. They self-update every season. If you've made it this far, that means you care about more than trophies. You care about mastery. And that's rare. So here's the deal. If you're serious about improving, I want you to join the mission. Hit that subscribe button right now, drop a comment that says "Control Chaos," and be part of the community that's rewriting what free-to-play actually means. No shortcuts, no excuses, just growth. We're not here to play Clash Royale. We're here to understand it. And once you understand it, no pay-to-win player can touch you. Because control isn't bought, it's earned, one smart decision at a time. The final lesson: you're the meta. Here's what you need to remember. No deck, no card, no patch will ever matter more than your mindset. The pros you look up to, they've lost thousands of games. They've tilted, raged, failed. But they kept studying, learning, adapting. That's why they look untouchable now. You can do the same. If you start playing with awareness instead of emotion, patience instead of panic, control instead of chaos, you'll start noticing something incredible. Your opponents will start fearing you. They'll see your calm, your precision, your consistency, and they'll tilt before the first card drops. That's the invisible skill. That's what separates the good from the great. So take this mindset, go into your next match, and remember, you don't need perfect cards. You just need perfect control. Play smart, stay calm, and I'll see you on top. And hey, if you're ready to keep growing, subscribe now. Let's build something unstoppable together. Have you ever watched your opponent panic and throw away their only counter, and then you crush their tower in one push? That's the power of bait and punish decks. And if you're free to play, this strategy can carry you to trophies without needing maxed cards. Here's how it works. The idea is simple. You force your opponent to waste their best counter on something cheap, and then you punish them with your real win condition. Let me give you a classic example: log bait. You use Goblin Barrel, Princess, or Goblin Gang to bait out the log. Once they waste it, your Goblin Barrel becomes unstoppable. Over time, those chip damages add up and win the game. But bait isn't just about log bait. Think wider. Let's say you're running Balloon and you know your opponent's only air defense is Musketeer. If you can bait that Musketeer out with a hog push or even a Knight at the bridge, then your Balloon is free to fly straight to the tower. That's bait and punish. Another example, Fireball bait. If your deck has Musketeer, Flying Machine, and Three Musketeers, your opponent can't fireball everything. If they fireball your Musketeer, your Flying Machine becomes deadly. If they fireball your Musketeer, dominates. That's constant pressure, constant punishing. Here's the mindset shift. Every time your opponent uses a key card, ask yourself, what did they just waste? If they drop Zap on Skeleton Army, maybe they don't have it for your Inferno Tower anymore. If they arrows your minions, your Goblin Gang is suddenly safe. Great players see these openings instantly and punish without hesitation. The beauty of bait and punish decks is that they're perfect for free-to-play. You're not relying on over-leveled tanks or champions. You're relying on timing, psychology, and forcing mistakes. So here's your challenge. Next time you play, don't just throw cards down. Think, how can I bait their counter and punish them for wasting it? Once you master this, you'll start winning matches that seemed impossible. And if you want me to break down the best free-to-play bait deck in detail tomorrow, hit that subscribe button right now, because trust me, this one's a ladder climbing machine.